Ooh, it's so spooky all over and enjoying the likes of the actual underground. I'm just only kidding. Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Mickey Mouse here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the Mexi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii. So last time we actually did manage to completely done with the forms of Pirate Storm, beat the likes of the Captain Beamoth, and able to claim the 5th World Ring, or in this case the 4th World Ring, which is the forms of the Water Blue Ring, and traverse back into the forms of Evil Foundry, and we've actually claimed ourselves the Red World Ring, which is the 5th one, and because of that though, we beat the likes of the Ifrit Golem for, well, at least for a proper time now. So, yeah, today for this episode, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we're going to be taking on to the forms of the next new world in the game, Skeleton Dome, a royal chamber hidden underground. So, let's get into it, shall we? And the first objective is obviously go for the gold mission, and the objective on this one is to able to find King Solomon, because I think Shara already mentioned about the forms of how the fact that what King Solomon is. But even then, though, we'll get to more details onto that as soon as we're able to find King Solomon. So, yeah, let's get into it. It appears to be actually we're going to be traversing through a snowy environment, which is kind of odd, but it might be something else for this matter. Yeah, that's what I just said, Shara. But I digress. So, as you can see, the whole entire purpose of this particular stage is the fact that, as you can see, we're going to be homing attack onto one of those breakable bones, including some of these skulls. And every time you actually just trying to see those, oh, you can't be invisible once you're in speed break, so I totally forgot about that. So, anyways though, it's been about for quite a few days a bit of a delay. Well, more so by the forms of 2 days delay because, well, because of that though, presumably that recently that Knuckles the Echidna has recently gone back into Pac-Man Party recently, and so far he's actually done the second board of the game, which appears to be more accurately the a horror themed board by the forms of Spooky, well, Spooky Hollow and stuff. And even then though, that he might actually able to actually go for the next board until when we get to like the next couple of days, or after whenever I finish up with this game first, because, well, this was originally supposed to be uploaded during the actual Friday, but I decided able to actually upload it today in the forms in Saturday, the 15th of September. I might be concerned about that, but even then though, that's just how I think it is. So, anyways though, oh yeah, from that section over there, the one we just actually walked past it actually, you can actually take two different methods. You can able to actually go for this particular traversing for the level. You can either go for the top portion, or go to the bottom portion and to able to actually do a lot of platforming. Whilst in the top portion, it's completely autopilot, and even then though, that you don't have to like fall down to the pit or anything. And other than that, if you want to get all 3 of those fire souls, you have to replay this level twice. Because of that, there's no way you can backtrack into between these 2 different segments. So, that's one thing in common as far as usually linear games are concerned, especially compared to like, you know, Mario Party 9 and Mario Party 10, and also Mario Party Island Tour for the certain boards throughout the game. So, anyways though, yeah, aside from that, not to mention that I'm presuming that Knuckles already mentioned about the forms of the actual Nintendo Direct schedules at that one point or another. He forgot to mention by the forms of some of these new stuff they actually did added in the forms of Sega Ages. By means the Sega Ages is the fact that not only do we get ourselves a release date until when it gets to next week, in new forms of the 20th of September, so I really can't wait to be able to try out Sonic the Hedgehog 1 all over again, but this time on the Nintendo Switch, anytime, anywhere, with any one type of console. And also, not to mention with the forms of Sonic the Hedgehog 1 might be in here, but also Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as well. So, might be very curious to see how the fact that there's going to be some new features in the Nintendo Switch version of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Well, most notably for the Mega Drive versions, to be more exact. But, even though we never know until whenever we get some more information about that particular version of the game, so we're probably not going to get any more details onto that just yet, because, well, usually we've actually got into the forms of like, let's just say the halfway point of September right now. So even then though, I can't believe, you know, days has been going way too fast at that one point. And yes, Knuckles, I do apologize about the fact with the last video that you did done in the forms of the Pac-Man party in Spooky Hollow board. I accidentally just said about the fact that there's no Nintendo Direct or anything like that, but even then, no, you were right about that, Knuckles, so I must have confessed. I really do apologize for that point, because sometimes if you're able to think of something about the future, but then sometimes it's really hard to actually think about one specific thing. But I digress. So here we go, onto this section right there. Now, as you can see, in order to actually traverse through different rooms of the level, in this case, in this section in particular, is the fact that we need to keep an eye on where the actual eyes of the forms of the actual, like, this little transportation, portal, type of, device or something. This way, it'll transport you into a different room, because when it gets to the white, you pretty much have to go back. So even then, though, you have to go for the red ones, because the red ones will continue further. So, here's my favorite part of the room, is that you can able to get a whole bunch of rings if you manage to keep on homing attack onto those flying treasure chests and stuff like that. Well, one exception. But it involves if you can get yourselves a whole bunch of pearls and stuff. So, but even then, no, that's all I can really say about this other than that. So, I believe we're almost nearly towards the end of the level now, so we can just, oh shoot. I really should able to save up my soul gauge as soon as we get to the very end. In this case, we actually reached at the very end, so speed break, going through, out of my way, I need to see the actual king himself. Well, at least interpretation is the forms of King Solomon, but hey. So anyways, we got ourselves the silver medal, as you can see there, so not too bad. And, do we get a level up? Of course we do. Level 26. So let's see what rewards we can get. Skimmer. Decreases drop in speed when sliding. I don't know if I can actually use that, though. I mean, I will admit, though, it might be kind of helpful, I think.
It looks like we might be a little late.
I should say so.
Whoa!
King Solomon?
Indeed. I am the great and powerful King Solomon.
If you say so.
Don't think I'm happy looking this way either. The Eraser Jinn did this to me. He resurrected the 40 thieves as evil spirits and sent them to attack me here.
And that's how you ended up like that?
Precisely, my dear. And that being the case, could I ask you a favor? Might I beseech you to track down the rest of my body? I'd also be grateful if you could do something about the 40 thieves as well.
Ha! No problem.
This is going to be a busy work, because the next mission we're going to be heading to is the fact that not hands off, but a rampage, but simply we need to defeat 40 enemies. Because, get it? Because of how the fact that as far as when King Solomon's applies, is the fact that we need to able to track down those 40 thieves. So, that could be something interesting for this matter, but even then though, before we get into this mission actually, I need to quickly able to double check what certain abilities I'm also able to equip. But in fact, no matter which though, I don't think there's anything able to actually equip other than just Fire Step, because I'm actually going to be using that, because that could be also be helpful though, much like Fire Gaze, but except the fact that if you want to able to actually just use that ability in the first place, you need to do like a combination abilities at the same time too. So even then though, if you want to able to equip something like the Fire Step, then you must be sure to able to equip the Back Step first, and then you would able to actually fuse to each other in new forms of the Fire Step, and then that way, you can able to actually attack enemies when you're trying to able to backstep for a little bit. So, definitely recommendable though, if you want to able to have yourself an easier time controlling this game. So, because of that though, I suggest you do that. So, anyways though. So yeah, in this particular mission is the fact that basically it's very simple, we need to defeat all 40 of those enemies. However though, I will say though, you don't have to necessarily deal with them all. I mean, you can able to deal some of them at a time. And the gimmick on this mission here is the fact that, as you can see, we're actually going to be activating those, one of those number coding switches. And every time you actually press one of them, then you would able to actually activate them. But remember, it's all in the correct order, starting through 1 all the way up to 5. And because of that, we need to get them all of them right, because if we manage to able to get that one wrong, then I'm presuming you have to restart the whole entire switch system again. So, because of that though, you really need to able to actually activate those switches first before you do anything, because if you first time playing this mission all by yourself, next thing you notice is how the fact that you might easily get confused or lost in this sometimes. But apart from that though, for when it comes to my skills anyway though, I managed to done that very, very well. Especially noticeable how the fact that this is what happens if you manage to activate all 5 of those switches, and that way it awakens those particular skeleton slaves. So these are the new enemies introduced in this game, so even then though that some of these skeleton based enemies can be easily be taken down with one hit at times. However though, it might not do it all the time though, because when we get to the later missions of the game, they probably expected how the fact that it gets a little bit more tougher and plus aggressive at the same time. Well, not so much aggressive as you can see there, but when we get to the forms of like the last 2 missions, because I say the last 2 missions, because this might be the shortest world to deal with, even though for the mission structure as far as this is concerned, but even then, no, that could be summarized for that. So anyways, this gets really, really repetitive though, even for the actual dialogue in the actual stage itself, is the fact that every time you get to the halfway point of this little loop sequences here, they always try to say the exact same line over and over and over again. I mean, can we just say like something else, like the forms of like, I don't know, just say nothing whatsoever, because you've already explained that multitude of times. But even then though, if you ever think about looping at the actual section itself, then you're gonna hear that line a lot. And even if you get game over, or even especially noticeable if you accidentally died in this mission, you have to redo the whole entire process again, which can be very tedious though, but as long as you get the hang of it, you would be alright. And 2 level ups. So how about that then, huh? Alright, so super quick air allows you to fly more smoother than with quick air. Cancel absorber, when landing off a jump cancel, experience is grinding, or granted. Quick jump decreases charge time required for charge jump. I think that could be helpful in some parts, but I really rarely use that, so who knows.
Hey, look at this.
It's a white ring. One of the 7, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely one of the world rings. It feels like light. To think this little thing could cause so much trouble.
You mean the ring?
Such great power can bring people either happiness or misfortune.
There are many such stories told of in the Arabian Nights.
For instance, this ring seems to be filled with desire. That could mean aspiration, or maybe it could be greed and ambition. Just what does Eraser want by collecting all of these rings?
I don't know about you, Sonic, but beats me. So anyways though, we've got ourselves our 6th world ring, which appears to be a white colored. In this case, a white world ring. I believe this might be the only world ring, alongside with the water blue ring, is pretty much mandatory if we want to able to finish up the entirety of the quest, or in this case, the main adventure, even though you don't have to deal with the additional missions throughout. So anyways though, we can either do Die Hard Challenge, or the special challenge, which is to find the King's Bones, which for me, I'm gonna go and find the rest of the King's body parts, mainly the forms of the King's Bones, this voice usually says. So, let's go ahead and equip, nah, there's not much else to equip, so let's go ahead and leave. But whatever though, because even then though, we still managed to able to actually become quite flawless as a result for this matter though, so yeah, let's get to it. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward until whenever like, some new stuff is being coming out and stuff like that, mainly at the very end of 2018, and especially noticeable at the very beginning of 2019. So, jeez, I can't believe these days going way too fast and quick. So anyways though, obviously in this mission, as far as this mission applies, is the fact that we need to find every single of those King's Bone parts, and then once you've found them all, if you think this mission will be about to be over, well, there's still more to come, because even then, in this first part, it's all in the endless loop sequences, unless if you're ever trying to able to react to trying to nab those 5 collectible bones. And once you deal with the rest of them, something else will happen until you're able to actually collect all 3 of those bones on that specific section. And I'm almost gonna die right there because, well, it's nothing is my fault or anything, it's just how the fact that if I manage to keep on getting my pickups of my speed, sometimes I keep on running into those particular skeleton-based enemies so easily. Anyways, we can simply just hold me attack onto those bones, or you can just simply walk by them. So, that way, if you manage to able to grab those 5 of those bone parts, it will instantly transport you into this treasure room for some reason, just to continue things going. And this will also transport us into the forms of that particular hand we need to actually obtain. Because if you manage to able to get yourselves the extension homing attack for a little bit, then you can able to reach that just as fine. Unless if you're actually trying to go for the optional Fire Soul collectibles, which I think I will admit though right away, I'm probably not going to do that. But I digress. So let's go ahead and traverse for this last section of this level. And the fact of the matter is though, it's pretty much the same deal as the Go for the Gold mission, except it's a little bit more harder this time around, because you know with the forms of these little grid bar stuff that is usually hanging from the forms of Go for the Gold mission version, well, unfortunately in this mission though, like, I'm sorry, I can't speak today for this point, folks. You have to do this within 1 single attempt, because if you do mess things up, you have to redo the entire process again. So that's why I had a lot of frustration back in the day and during whenever I first got the game, as far as I've noticed that before. But even then though, aside from that though, as long as you know what you're doing, then you would able to be perfectly fine. But you need to be watching over by the forms of not only the spike balls are coming down, but also you do have to worry about by the forms of the limitations to able to recover yourself from getting back up. And that was really stupid. Stupid fire genies, how dare you. But even then though, we're gone towards the very end now, so let's go ahead and just clutch things over, and we can able to finish off the main mission as normal. So yeah, that's what I can really come across. And let's see how well we did on this mission. Alright, so another silver medal. So even though that with the defeat the 40 thieves mission, I've only got ourselves the bronze medal. So oh well, no big deal, but hey, at least we can able to deal with it.
And many such spirits were driven to madness. It is my fault that they became the minions of the Eraser Jinn. However, by carving up the words that make up our world, new spirits have also appeared. His power is nearly godlike.
Godlike, huh? Well, that's a problem then.
Even so, supernatural beings like the Eraser Jinn always have weak points that are told of in stories.
Huh?
In truth, he is a genie of the lamp. Somehow, though, he has escaped. If we had the lamp he belongs to, it could be possible to seal him away again. Forever.
Lamp, huh?
There is one problem, though. Returning the lost stories to their original state requires greater power than we have. It would take a miracle.
Leave it to me. That's why I'm here, after all.
I see. So then you are the legendary Blue Hedgehog. A great curse has been placed upon you. I can see in your eyes the grim fate that awaits you.
Hey, quit staring. You're giving me the creeps.
I'm a bit hesitant to put this upon you, but I will tell you this. You can find the Eraser Jinn in his palace up in the sky. Show me that your part of this legend can come true.
Thanks. Now it's time I make a legend for myself then.
Hold the white world ring up to the palace gates, and they will open.
Okay. Thanks for your help.
I sense death approaching.
Alrighty then, so we actually got ourselves one last mission left in the forms of Skeleton Dome, and now will have to be another rampage mission, but this time with lesser enemies, by the forms of defeating 15 enemies. So not much, but at least we can able to deal with this though. But even then, there's one catch to this though. Because of that though, we'll explain more details onto that as soon as we get into the actual mission itself. So, man, I really cannot believe we're actually breezing for this game so quickly every nowadays. Especially with the YouTube partnership I'm still going to be working with and all that stuff. But even then, no, that's all I can think about. Now, remember the forms of these skeleton-based enemies right there? These are not to be able to be instantly be defeated this time around. Because in order to actually deal with the enemies properly, is the fact that we need to be able to actually just activate switches most of the time, because if you do actually activate those switches continuously, that way it should able to actually make those enemies come down. Mainly the genie enemies. See, Fernando, because of that, because that's what the actual mission applies, sometimes he keep on teleportation all over the place, or keeps on disappearing, which can be bugging me, but it might be not so much of an issue though, unless if you know what you're trying to do for this part, and that's what I can really come across. So yeah, that's all you have to really do with this mission, is that you need to constantly press in those switches before something else happens. Because of that, if you can't afford to able to actually just, well, can't deal with these skeleton-like enemies from the get-go, then yeah, you might as well able to just consider this fact. However though, if you go all the way around, all the way back to like King Solomon's throne or something, your mission will be instantly failed. See, but no, it's not like any forms of defeating 40 enemies mission, unlike in last time. But because of that though, we need to oh crap, I just died. Oops. Anyways, let's try this again, and I think the reason why I accidentally died is because I probably should able to go after that fire soul, so... And I should probably go ahead and be very careful for this point, because with all this, enemies keep on just trying to able to become invisible, or in this case, keep on just trying to, you know... Alright, so... Oh, shoot, there's only one more enemy. I think this will do. Whew! That was pretty close. Especially I don't want to touch by the forms of that particular teleportation, object right there, because if I accidentally get in there, then I would simply just get my mission failed, so... Yeah, definitely avoid that at all costs. So, fast grind. Increases acceleration more than a quick grind. Alright then. And we've actually unlocked the true final world in the game. Night Palace. See, Fernando. Hopefully we're expecting to see how this will turn out. And also, we might actually see the first CGI cutscene. So I'll let you guys to enjoy it.
looks like my time limit is about up.
Sonic?
Sorry. I don't mean to worry you. I'll be okay.
I'm so sorry. It's my fault that this happened to you.
Really? Don't worry about it. Just remember my promise. The promise between me and you.
I haven't forgotten that promise.
I knew I could count on you, Shara. It's gonna take more than some tiny flame to bring judgment down on me. Come on, let's go!
Okay.
So yeah, remember the actual promise, in this case a pinky promise, but it forms in Sand Oasis? Well, that usually heavily borrows that for that tradition, so sometimes the story can be confusing if you manage to able to get to this point first, and then Sand Oasis after that, but even in us, one point things out. So anyways though, we're gonna have to end things off here, I'm afraid guys, so join me next time on Let's Play Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii, is the fact that we're gonna be taking on to the forms of the final world in the game. Night Palace. So, yeah, things can get a little bit more interesting. So yeah, see you guys next time. Later, fellas.